Hi team, Adam Thompson here from iMortgage. Today talking about guarantees and other ways that family can help their children into buying houses. Now, key things to cover here is what is a guarantee, what are the liabilities that guarantor is going to have, and what are the other options out there to help. There's definitely a few ways to approach it, and I just want to talk through here to give people a bit of an understanding. They can seek their own legal advice and then make a bit of a plan on the best way to move forward. So, what is a guarantee? Well, it used to just be a simple case of someone owned a property, say parents owned a property, their bank then took a mortgage over their property, gave a loan to the children, they signed it off and said, hey look, if they don't pay the mortgage, we're going to sell your property and we're going to sell mum and dad's and we're going to recoup the money that way. That's a really simple way of putting it, but it used to be really quite straightforward. Then the thing called the Responsible Lending Code came in, and it actually brought about a change in banks' policies, and there was a change around that time. And the banks now are quite loath to go ahead and do a traditional guarantee like that, where simply the parents put up the security and the kids go and borrow the money. Because they have an obligation to make sure that the guarantor can actually afford to service the entire amount of lending, and that often winds up in them being dragged in as a borrower, or some of the limitations on that guarantee being removed. So it's not normally the best thing for that guarantor to be putting in place as well. So what are the other options? We work with this a lot, and obviously you have a lot of real genuine situations where parents are keen to help their kids get into a property but don't quite know how. Maybe talk to their bank manager and don't quite get the answer that they're used to getting. It's, oh, just sign it away and we'll do it like we did back in the day. Look, I think it's really important to talk to a lawyer here about your liability as a guarantor. Where a bank is asking for an all obligations guarantee, it means that they are essentially liable for paying all of that money back. That also means you're going to wind up having to apply for a loan, or wind up being often recommended joint owners and things like that. Is that the right thing? And often it isn't. So look, we try and keep it simple. The thing that we do most often, and we have talked to a lot of lawyers about this as well, who like to keep it simple as well, is that the parents can borrow a small amount of money against their property to top the children up to what they need in terms of deposit, often up to 20% being ideal. And then the children have an opportunity to basically go ahead and borrow 80%. We can arrange a mortgage then really simple for them as a standalone. There's no guarantee from the parents. And then what happens, they can either pay that money back over time, or when the property's sold, they get a capital gain and they can then pay that money back to the parents then. The key thing is that for the parents, their liability is then only limited to that amount of money. It's not a guarantee where their property could actually be sold up if the kids defaulted on their mortgage. There are some products out there with some banks, a springboard type loan, where say the children and parents become joint borrowers on the portion that's over 80%, and that's a really good option too, but it just depends on what's right for the situation. So our point of view is definitely one that the traditional guarantee appears to be on the way out. It's getting much harder and is not always the best option. So we favour either parents borrowing money to tip in, or doing a springboard type loan where there's a joint borrowing on that top up to get up to 80%, and then moving forward like that. So look, as you can see, it's a bit of a minefield. I've talked quickly for a few minutes and I've only covered off a couple of the points. We really recommend having a chat with us. We'll go through your financial position, look at the options. We'll then be able to say which bank can do what product and how that's going to work. We can work in with your lawyer then, so that you've got an understanding of what that liability is going to be. And really, we can just make it simple. And that's all we want to do. Mum and dad want to help, kids want to buy a house, and we just want to help make it happen. So look, we'd love to hear from you. Click the contact us, and we'll talk to you soon.